Mozambican water authorities have announced that around 300,000 people are at risk of being affected by flooding along the Zambezi Basin during the current rainy season, which runs between October and March. The Zambezi Basin floods at the beginning of the year left a trail of destruction, including a bridge on the Revubue River.
That's right, and Tropical Storm Anna also made landfall on 24 January 2022 and destroyed thousands of homes as well as dozens of schools and hospitals, with an estimated 125,000 people affected. Well, joining us this morning live from Maputo, Mozambique is Volker Dias. He is a public affairs analyst and senior lecturer of international relations at Alberto Chipandi University. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you. Good morning for everyone.
All right. Now, there seems to be a repetition of that deadly flooding that occurred early this year, as there's been moderate and above normal rains, especially with forecasts stating that it's going to be a lot of rainy season. Now, is it safe to say that Mozambique hasn't learned and Mozambique isn't prepared for any of these disasters?
So everyone, all years is the same thing. It's the complicated situation. This is the one cause of the climatic changes, and Mozambique are suffering every year of negative impact of these climatic changes. So what we can do right now, can I say right now, with Mozambique is like most part of the African continent in development, countries in development. So what we can do right now, it's a created alternative, but it's not enough, because we have the one critical situation of financial situation here in Mozambique. We have the social priority, we have the financial priority, we have the military priority, because we have one war of fighting for terrorism in Cabo Delgado, for example, and we are put all power in the Cabo Delgado province. So this is the very complicated situation to fighting. So for this climatic changes, we need the boots for the school, we need food for the people after this disaster, because in the October to April is the one time for the flood time, for the cyclone time. We have the cyclone Idai, for example, in 2019, and the disaster all the center of the Mozambique and some parts of the north of Mozambique. We have the other cyclone. So this is the one critical situation, because we need to give the good condition for the people, for example, in Cabo Delgado, who are suffering with the terrorism, and also we need to provide the food, the infrastructure situation or condition to put the all people while we are suffering with this climatic changes. So this is the reason the authority right now said we don't have enough money for to fighting with these climatic changes. If you see the rate or the conditions or determined conditions to have this money for the fighting to climatic change, it's so expensive for our countries, because we need schools, we need to construct bridges and etc. So yes, we are in the big and complicated situation right now.
Let's talk about the effect that dams have on floods, or in increasing the effect of flooding around the continent. Take, for example, in Nigeria, the Lagdo Dam, of course, being released, had a negative impact on the flooding situation in Nigeria. But the situation has worsened in Mozambique by discharges from the Cahora Bassa Dam since the beginning of October. In fact, reports had it that from the 1st of October, the discharge from the dam was set to triple from about 1,600 to 3,600 cubic meters per second from the 1st of October. What would you say has been the response of the government so far to this?
Yeah, we don't have a Cahora Bassa situation only. We have the other countries who have make the frontier with the Mozambique in the same situation. What we need to do, all the authorities right now try to do, is to make one big communication with the other countries here, neighbors here and around of Mozambique, like for example, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Swaziland or Eswatini right now, to give a good communication, to create one plan, for example, for this situation. For the impact, we are a negative impact also in some regions. We see in Tete, for example, the most important bridge in Tete or in the Kawara Basa is installed are the big one bridge are damaged of this floods, and maybe we can create it one resilience plan. The resilience plan needs also money to make the things happen. So right now, the most important for us is to make one good communication with all communities here in Mozambique. For example, the most affected areas like in the center of Mozambique and the north of Mozambique. The center is we see it in the Zambezi province, we see Sofala province, Manica more or less, and Tete province are the most affected with these climatic changes. So what we need to do right now is to create one by big circle of the communication, not for only for our communities, but also with the neighbors here around the Mozambique.
That's a lot of thing to do, if you put it that way. But I mean, the latest alert raised by the water authorities focuses on the over 800 people living along the Zambezi Basin, of which around 300,000 are actually exposed to floods. Now, what would be the fate of these ones who are actually exposed very clearly to the floods?
Maybe the government created some infrastructure in the cities to remove that people for that security area. This is the most important right now. I created one plan to create one site for the emergencies house or something like that in the schools or in the military bases to put that people for that period, because after that that people can return for that areas. We see that on that year and on this year when this year start, and on the last year we see that the same thing in the cyclone Idai, where the people are removed for the big cities. For example, we have the Dondo district. The people there are removed to the Beta city. Beta city are suffering with the cyclone Idai, but the people there are moving to the schools, to the hospitals, and created conditions to put that people there. But we have the other challenger with when we remove that people for that area, because these people need to eat, and the food is the big problem. After that, with the health problems, we need to give this support for the hospitals and etc. So we remove that people, but we need to create the other conditions to put that people to live in the good conditions. But we have the same feeling in the Cabo Delgado. We have some displaces or in the Cabo Delgado from the different parts of the province. And that people need also the same conditions and don't have. If you remove these people for example, for the flood situation for the big cities, we have also to create conditions. So this is the most big challenge right now when we remove that people in the emergence of the Zambezi.
I mean, it's a lot that's going on, from deadly floods in Nigeria to devastating droughts in Somalia, and now threats of flooding in Mozambique. Africa has really faced severe weather conditions since 2022, and we're hoping that we can find a resolution to all of this shortly. Thank you so much for joining us, Wiyaka Diash, and thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.